Welcome back to 20 something. I am so grateful and honored that you're here. And I am so excited for our conversation today because we have Annika in the studio with us and she is doing phenomenal things. So Annika, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. So for the person that is choosing to spend a part of their day with us today, what about their mindset and their life is going to change based on our conversation?
I think after hearing our conversation, they're going to really understand that fitness isn't just a challenge or something that you can make it to the finish line or accomplish. It's a lifestyle change. It's weaving it through what you can really do, and it's attainable, and it's making little steps for the rest of your life.
It's beautiful. I think that so many people have goals they want to hit, but it's just a matter of how do I do that? So
100%.
I'm so excited for our conversation. Let's
Hopefully
get into it.
Give you guys some action items.
Oh, you will. Wait, are we recording? Hey, it's Liv, and welcome back to 20 something. I'm so grateful that you're here. You know, health is one of those things that we talk about a lot, but I think that very few of us actually feel at peace with where we're at. And that's why I'm so excited that you're here, because today's guest isn't someone who changed just her body and the way that she looked, but she completely rewrote her relationship with health, her confidence, and what she believed was possible for her life. Annika Orozco is the founder of Annika. It's a gym that's built around the idea of health is wealth, and she's doing it at an age where most people are still trying to figure things out. So today we're going to talk about not only her personal health journey, but the mindset that it takes to build something this big, and the realities of navigating fitness, beauty standards, and making the changes that you've been wanting to make in ways that actually work. So if you're chasing a really big dream, but maybe you don't know where to start, or you're just wanting to be healthier, navigate that good old gym anxiety, body standards, and just the quiet pressure that you have and you feel to have your life figured out by now, then I promise that this conversation is for you. Annika, welcome to 20 something. I am so grateful and happy that you're here in the studio today.
No, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here today.
Well, I'm honored to have you. You have been someone, I think, before even all of the big things that you're doing now.
Oh my gosh.
I've been to so many of your hot Pilates classes.
You're
and
so
I
sweet.
just think that what you stand for and do online is amazing and phenomenal. So
You are so kind. Well, thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here and to chat, and
yeah.
you're so cool. Podcast, by the way, so everyone knows that listening to this, being a podcast host is way hard to be able to just like communicate. Like,
Oh, you're so
after
nice.
I've now been on a few podcasts, I'm like, you guys are so talented. It takes a lot of skill to do this. So
You're so kind.
20 something, she's killing it.
Oh, you're so kind. Honestly, you guys make it easy. I just get you guys talking and it's
Oh yeah, I could
It's
talk
easy.
forever. So
Yeah.
just get me going.
perfect. You know, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about was funny. I was doom scrolling on TikTok the other night in my bed, and I saw a girl who she was from out of state, lived out of state.
Okay.
And she basically was saying, if you want to feel so self-conscious, go do Pilates in Utah because you show up and everybody is in matching sets and is
This is so
perfectly
funny.
tan in the dead of winter. And, you know, was just basically saying that it was a hard environment to walk into.
Yeah.
And I was raised in Utah. And as she was talking, I was thinking, girl, I resonate with a lot of that.
100%.
And I grew up here. I think that everybody resonates with that. Like
Yes.
everyone feels a bit of imposter syndrome. But one thing that I love that you have done is shown your health journey, where
Yeah.
you started versus where you are now and how you maintain that each day.
Mhm.
So I would love to hear more, honestly, and to give our listeners a little bit of context
Yeah.
into how that has looked for you.
No, I think that that's a very fair assessment from that
Sorry.
girl. I see those videos a lot, and especially about Utah. So I think you guys are dead on. I personally, my experience going to Pilates for the very first time in Utah County was very, very similar. I had lost about 50 pounds already at the time. And so I was
Wow.
feeling really good, walked in, and I was still one of the bigger girls in the room. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was very intimidating. I am so lucky that I tell this story all the time. I was so lucky I purchased a month pass, because had I just dropped in or done like my first class free or something, the chances of me ever going back would have been zero. But I had bought the month-long pass. And so I was like, well, I may as well get my money's worth. I'm just going to like keep going this month, and then I can be down after this month. And, but I just kept going and going and fell in love with it. And I think it was for me finding like the right instructors, and we can go into all that detail, but it was very nerve-wracking coming into that room, especially being someone who has had to go through a weight loss journey, because it felt like I walked in and all these girls had been in amazing shape their whole life and had everything together. Utah kind of is like a pressure cooker for that anyway, I think.
Yeah.
But I had lost 50 pounds about then. And now I'm close to more like 75-pound full weight loss.
It's amazing.
Thank you. That is so kind.
Wow.
But I think that is a fair assessment.
Yeah. I'm curious, there's a big, I think in the fitness world, there's lots of talk with peptides and a bunch of weight loss supplements and things. And I 100% think that everybody should do what they need to do and what works for them. But what was that like for you, kind of starting that health journey? Was it diet? Was it exercise?
So I had actually gone to a med spa medical clinic to get my hormones tested, because I thought, and I've talked about this before, I thought that there must have been something wrong with my hormones, because I was so overweight and so miserable and all the things. And anyway, we could talk about that for forever, but just briefly, it definitely wasn't my hormones. After I got my hormones tested, I just was treating my body like crap. So from there, we made a great plan, and I just started kind of on this weight loss journey. I also really believe that like peptides and things like that are useful tools for people. This was back in 2021 when this happened. So I have no beef with any of that sort of thing if it's used correctly. But this was just like back in 2021. So I started just walking every single day for 30 minutes before work, because that was the only thing that felt attainable. And again, I've talked about this a ton, but I was in a cycle for so many years, probably since I was 18, where it was literally like, okay, I hate how I look. I'm going to totally change my life. I'm going to do this 180 flip. I'm going to start this crazy workout program. I'm not eating any sugar anymore. I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And I would stay on it for maybe a week, maybe two, and then fall off worse than I was before. Yeah. And I was in this cycle for so many years of thinking that it was all or nothing. And so little did I know at the time, but walking for 30 minutes a day, like a very attainable goal that I could actually be successful in, was kind of the catalyst for starting a healthy lifestyle. And I didn't know at the time, but doing things that are attainable is what makes the biggest difference. At the time, I was kind of at a rock bottom point, and I just thought, well, I'm just going to try this. And now I know that going that little 1%, making attainable goals, the lifestyle change is the key, not these like challenges or 75 hard or all those things, even though I think there's places for those in the fitness world. But if you're trying to change your life, then it has to be a lifestyle thing, not like a 60-day challenge, which is what I'd kind of come from for so many years, if that makes sense.
Oh, it does. And I think that's so insightful, because as you're saying that, I'm thinking, check, how many times have I done that? Like marked out, whether it's health or something else, where it's like, I'm going to flip my life 180.
Yes.
And you fall off because it's unattainable. Unobtainable. Yeah. Exactly.
And I think too, that like when I first started, I was so discouraged. And so this is something that I always want to drive home, is like, I was so discouraged that I was only starting with walking for 30 minutes a day this time. And granted, I had tried so many times to start. I had like before pictures in my camera roll for years.
Yes.
But this specific time, I was like so discouraged that I was starting with such like an easy thing, because I had grown up an athlete playing sports, and I like knew like where I had come from. And so I felt like such a wimp, or, like I was so discouraged that I was starting with walking, but it really, really, really changed my life. And so the advice I give to everybody is take a good hard look at yourself and make an attainable goal of where exactly you're at right then. it would have never worked out for me to try 4 years ago to be doing like my fitness schedule that I do now. And I would have attempted that and then totally fallen off the wagon. And it would have been totally unattainable. But doing things to create lifestyle changes is the key to progress and like staying with it forever rather than little spurts here and there.
Yeah. I think another thing, as I'm hearing you talk about that, it sounds like not only was it doable, but it was something that you liked.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important too, is does it make you feel good?
Oh yeah.
When I would never really been into walking. Everyone would go on walks and I would just sit there and think, how do you not get so bored? But my last breakup that I went through, actually, walks became like my survival.
Oh, they probably
toolkit.
saved your life.
No, literally. Like I would put on my headphones, I would turn on a podcast or a book I was listening to, and I would just walk. And I started learning so much about dual processing and what it is to actually sort through your thoughts and be moving your body at the same time. And now walking is something that I love. Like at the time, yes, it was survival, but now I go on a walk every single day because I love it.
I love it.
And it's so fun to see health benefits that come from things that you love, things that make you feel good.
100%, 100%. And honestly, like God is such a genius making walking, like he literally put so many benefits to walking, and that's what our bodies were made to do. We process information while we walk. We get like better moods. We're able to handle problem solving better. And then on top of that, it's the best fat burner on the market.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of exactly what our bodies were made to do, is to walk. And so that's like always my first, like, walk 10K steps a day.
Yes.
If you are, I don't care if you're already in great shape, if you are struggling mentally, if you're struggling emotionally, if you're struggling spiritually, if you're struggling physically, like my recipe is walking 100%. And that's a great example of going through a breakup, or like any time that I'm stressed or I need to make a big decision or I'm disappointed or like any of these emotions, walking, for some reason, it makes it clear. And there's a ton of science behind that. But walking, I do think, really does save lives and makes any situation better if you're someone who utilizes walking as a tool.
Just getting outside as well. And I think that that's a really cool principle. Yes, in fitness, but just in life in general.
Yeah.
If your career, whatever it is, your sport that you play, if you can fall back on the principle that this is something that I genuinely love, your longevity increases 100-fold because you love it.
And I do think I get asked that a lot. Like, oh, I get so bored walking. How do you walk? Well, it's like, have you really, really tried it? Because I've never met anyone that starts walking that sticks with it, it doesn't end up being their favorite thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's where you process, it's where you think, it's where you can literally unplug. I think that walking is like the least boring thing I could do. And also I get so much done when I walk too. So it's one of those things where I go on walks with all of my employees whenever we have like chats.
Oh, I love that.
I go, and it just creates a better environment. Like, walking is something that every single person can do. And so like me and my husband, for date nights, we go walking. Whenever we have to chat about something, we go for walks. Like, it's just something that is so easily woven into an everyday lifestyle, no matter where you're at or what job you have or how much time you have. It's something that's very attainable for almost everyone. Yeah. Which is cool.
I love that. You know, I'm curious too. We kind of mentioned previously beauty standards. And it's a tricky one because it's something that I don't think will ever go away. And as I was listening to that girl's video, I was resonating with it very deeply because I played soccer in college. And I think that like soccer girls, we just have a certain type of body, you know? And so when I walked into Pilates, my first thought was, I don't look like any of these girls.
Yeah, I can totally relate.
Yes. And it made me insecure in a space where I typically didn't feel insecure in fitness a lot of times in my life. I suddenly, you know, my only thought was, I am not a ballerina. These girls are holding 10-pound weights perfectly with their toes pointed and I'm like falling over. And I've heard similar sentiments, even with people going to the gym, like a public gym, where it feels everyone knows what they're doing. And I am walking around here clueless. I feel like everybody's looking at me. And so with you building a phenomenal gym, which is so exciting,
so
and I
sweet.
am excited to get into that. How are you hoping that that will impact each individual person that attends Annika, but also the community as a whole in terms of beauty standards and what actually beautiful and healthy is?
I think I have an interesting take on this and maybe a controversial one.
I love controversial takes.
I know, me too. I do 100% attribute a lot of my confidence to being fit. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The more I started feeling healthy, the more I got in better shape, the better I felt in every aspect, mentally, physically, emotionally. I mean, as I got more and more healthy, everything got better. My confidence level went up. Just the way I felt on a day-to-day basis, my energy level, my relationships got better, all the things. And so while I want Annika to be a very inclusive space, because again, I was the chubbiest girl in the room at the beginning, it felt like, you know what I mean?
Which is cool because
I
it's
have
not
that,
only this idea, you can say I've been there.
Oh yeah. I totally, my dream is for anyone to walk into Annika and A, feel successful, and B, feel like we just wrapped them up in this amazing community. But it's a community of people who we're all trying to get better every day. We all are, live the health is wealth kind of motto that is the gym. And so while I want everyone to feel included and wrapped in this great community, the community is getting better, and it is high expectations for ourselves in a great way, in a positive way. And so, because that's been my experience, I mean, my rock bottom versus right now, I mean, you wouldn't even not only physically would you not recognize the person, but I just had no confidence. I had no drive. I had no dreams. I had no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fitness, in my opinion, is one of the greatest confidence tools in the world.
I 100% agree. My dad, the last few years before he got sick, he lost like 150 pounds.
Oh my gosh.
It was crazy. And
wow, that's a lot on the body.
Walking. He was walking 40,000 steps a day,
fat burner
which
on the
was
market.
wild. But my dad changed. It was crazy to see. He was always a phenomenal dad. I'm like, sorry, Dad in heaven, just go with me for a second. But
I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, you're sweet. Thanks. But as I was growing up, my dad often struggled with a temper, and he would express very often that he would get really frustrated with the fact that he struggled with a temper, and he would do everything he could, but that he felt like in those situations, his anger would just flare. And it was wild to see as he lost this weight and as he got more comfortable in himself and in his body, he gained control over that anger. And
that's so cool.
Yeah. I would talk to him about it and ask him, Dad, you struggled with this for so long. We're all seeing this very big change in you.
Yeah.
Why? And he just told me, well, because I'm happier. I'm 100%. So much happier. And it was cool too, to your early testament. He tried every diet. He tried everything on the planet.
Yeah.
And I credit a lot of this to my sister-in-law, who is a dietitian, but she created a plan that was so doable and then told him to walk.
That is so awesome. And I relate so much to his story, where I just thought that I, wasn't very good at a lot of things. And I just thought that I didn't have very many skills. And I just thought that I had nothing to really offer. And I agree. Like my relationship, I sabotaged a lot of things for myself because I was frustrated. I was down. I was depressed. I was anxious. And it just felt like as I got healthier and healthier, it was like, not only was the weight coming off, but like all these problems were like shedding off.
Yeah.
And things felt less overwhelming. And I felt like I was better able to handle tough situations, and challenges felt a little bit easier. And so that is like, I can totally relate to that situation. I think my husband and probably my family can attest. I'm a way more, my mom's over there, so she might disagree, but I feel like I'm a way more easygoing person than I used to be. And I feel like I'm happier. I'm able to handle things where before I would spiral.
Yeah. It makes perfect sense to me. I think another really cool thing that you did was taking ownership of your health and of your body.
Yeah. I think that's That's really, really important. And it's really hard to do in this day and age because, again, and probably another little bit of a controversial take is I'm very anti the body positivity movement. And let me explain what I mean by that, because that could get taken out of context. I believe in absolutely embracing who you are today. I believe that embracing the things that you cannot change about yourself. I can't change my height. I can't change what I naturally do, with my personality and the things that I love and all those things. So I think that is a great point of the body positivity movement, is embracing the things about ourselves we can't change. But I think that the body positivity movement was actually very toxic for a lot of young women. And especially me, I kind of fell into that trap of like, no, I'm beautiful just the way I am. And of course I was, but I was missing out on a lot of potential because I was like kind of just getting caught up in this, like, eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, no pressure on myself. When I started to get into fitness and I really did like take accountability for where I was, what had happened to me, and that I kind of put myself there and I didn't blame soccer injuries anymore. I didn't blame, right? I didn't blame like my life situations anymore. And I just said like, this was my responsibility to take care of my body and I didn't do a good job. And I'm going to start taking responsibility for it now and being in charge of it. And I'm going to make it a priority. And here's my work schedule. And I'm in charge of making it work in this schedule. I'm not going to use excuses anymore about my job or about where I've come from or like what's happened to me. It's just my responsibility and no one's coming to save me except for me, which is actually kind of a relieving feeling to know that, like, yes, there are so many things out of our control, like in our lives, but we are in control of how we treat our bodies.
Yeah.
It's really cool. I mean, we might not be able to control every single thing that happens to us. There's injuries, there's, illnesses that happen and all these things, but we get to control how we treat our body through these challenges and just through life. And so taking responsibility is hard to do. I think especially in today's age with like the way that we kind of approach health and wellness, and like it's interesting how intense it is, but I think that everyone's figuring out, and especially like our generation is figuring out like it's better to just treat your body great. You feel better when you eat right. You do better when you eat right. You feel better when you work out. You do better when you work out.
Yeah.
So I think that we're in a great trajectory for the most part.
I love that. Saying, I'm beautiful the way that I am, which absolutely totally agree with that. Did you feel good? Like in your own skin?
No. I did not feel good. I didn't, I had no confidence. I mean, if I've said this kind of everywhere I've gone about how I was feeling, I feel like a lot of girls can relate to this. If I was sitting here today, where I was 5 years ago, I would have had to have a pillow right here. I would have been so embarrassed. I would have been doing this with my hoodie. Do you know what I mean? I just did not feel comfortable in my skin. I hated, going to the pool, even though those are my favorite things to do. What's so sad is on my social media, you'll see like a lot of my transformation videos, I use like one picture in almost all of them because I pretty much refused to take a picture for like 2 years.
Yeah.
And anytime that my husband took a picture or anything, I'd always deleted it. I have like almost practically no pictures of myself when I was at my heaviest weight, just because I just felt like crap inside and out. And I didn't feel comfortable in my skin. And it just honestly wasn't a great place to be, but it's kind of like this toxic like rabbit hole when you're kind of like wrapped up in this body positivity movement of like, kind of, I think that a lot of girls can relate to that.
Yeah. Well, it's a balance, right? Of being gracious with yourself where you're at.
Yes.
And giving yourself room to hit your goals, but also I think being confident in the fact that I'm not where I want to be and that's okay.
Yes.
But I can get there and I have the belief in myself.
Some of the best advice I ever got on my fitness journey was because one of the hardest parts of my fitness journey was really when I started doing Pilates, because people didn't know in the room that I had lost 50 pounds and I was kind of like killing it. You know what I mean? I knew that, And I was feeling really confident and good. But then I come in this room and there's like, everyone's 105 pounds. Everyone, like same kind of thing that you said that girl described in her video. Everyone has blonde hair, every hair slicked perfectly into their bun.
Perfect.
Their makeup is flawless, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I did feel self-conscious, and it was hard because I'm like, no one knows where I've come from, but I'm like,
yeah,
you know, I'm doing so good. And I got the best advice during my fitness journey that was, all you can control today is hitting your fitness goals. After that, just love and enjoy the body you're in and stop thinking about it.
That's such good advice.
It is the best advice, especially because it actually works when you do hit your goals. So if I woke up, I did my walk, I did my workout, I am eating, you know, an 80-20 clean diet. That's all I can do today. And how I look is not going to change that day. It's not going to change. So after I've done that work, I just enjoy the body that I'm in.
It's amazing.
And it helped a ton on my fitness journey, because fitness journeys are hard. It's not, I mean, it's easy now for me to sit here and say 5 years ago, but in the thick of 5 years, I mean, year 1, year 2, year 3, like people really didn't even start noticing. I didn't really get any comments until like a year and a half in.
And that's why it has to be for
exhausting.
you.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't I think that applies to everything in life, where it has to be intrinsically motivated, because you're never going to get enough.
Yes.
Externally.
Oh yeah.
I am so curious, because I think that something that we all share, be it in your 20s or later on in life, is dreaming and goals. And what you're doing is so incredible, of opening this phenomenal gym where it's not only Pilates, you have a sauna, weightlifting, there's a grocery store in it too, right?
We're calling it Annika Grocery. It's my kind of grocery store with only drinks.
I resonate so deeply with that. But I think it's phenomenal at 25 that you decided, not only am I going to have this, because I'm sure you had this dream for a while.
Yeah.
Right? How, or what was the moment where it was suddenly, no, I can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do this.
This is an interesting thing to think about, because it just kind of does feel like things just snowballed into this, if that makes sense. Like even from day one of my fitness journey, like as my confidence got better, my career got better. And as my fitness got better, my confidence got better. You know what I mean? It just like slowly these things just kept growing and growing and growing. I got braver to put myself into rooms that I wasn't probably like equipped to even be in the first place, but also that I had been brave enough to be in before. I started doing way better at my job. I just was like, things just got better and better. And then, I started getting the dream of opening my own studio after I had been going to Pilates for a long time. I just like had this vision of creating a space like this for like a girl like me, to come and like have a life-changing experience. And I also at the time, because now at this point, I was like super into all the health and wellness stuff. I was no longer just only walking 30 minutes a day. I'm kind of like in all the things. And I had to have a membership at like multiple places to be able to get all the things I wanted from, in the winter, I really wanted to have like a nice treadmill to walk on. And then I wanted to be able to weightlift and have the machines that I needed for some weight training. And then I wanted a hot room, a great studio with a hot room for hot Pilates. And then I wanted reformers. And so I just felt like I was paying for a lot of different studios, and then sauna and ice bath is its own separate thing. Right.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of, that's where the dream came from, as I just thought like, I wish there was just one place in Utah County where all of it was together and it was a beautiful space. Cause like when I go on trips and I like go to New York or LA and I go to studios there, and it's just so magical.
Yeah, it's immaculate.
And it's kind of all the things. And it felt like a pipe dream for a really long time. And I kind of always had it in the back of my mind as I got certified and started teaching. I taught for a long time. And as I just kept going towards that with like that kind of the end goal in mind, just doors opened.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious, what was the first step? Like when you decided, okay, this is something I'm going to do. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people get stuck there. I know what I want to do, but it's that first jump of what do I do?
It's an interesting question. To be totally honest with you, I think that Kim Kardashian just barely said it best herself the other day on I don't know if you've seen that viral clip of her from her masterclass saying like, oh, like you don't want to do social media and you want to build a brand. That's not going to work anymore. So for me, I'd say like the very first step was putting myself out there on social media. And I think that's a really, really, really key aspect to all of this.
Yes.
Is that none of these doors would have opened had I not started sharing my story on social media, sharing my life on social media, and growing there first. So I think that that's the first step, which a lot of people hate.
Yeah, but that's so important.
It is.
Because I think I agree with you, the golden kind of path right now, especially social media, but being confident in what you want to do, even just saying it out loud to other people of this is what I'm going to do. When you start saying it to yourself, you open doors without even realizing it.
Yeah. And honestly, it was just always kind of in the back of my mind, and kind of every decision that I made kind of had it in the back of my mind with it. I started doing after I started teaching, I like really wanted to become so knowledgeable and just become the very best instructor I could possibly be. So I spent so much time and effort getting lots of certifications, going through lots of training programs, getting as many hours as a human could possibly teach in. And then I also like really put time and effort into my social media. I put time and effort into holding events. I put time and effort into creating a great community. And
that was all authentic to you.
That was all authentic to me. And so I think that's the other thing is with your dreams, like, do you really want this? Like, is this authentic to you? Is this natural for you? And it really was like the best way I can explain it is just doors started opening as I kept going.
Yep. I saw a quote on Instagram just the other day about Olivia Dean and how people are coining her as this overnight success.
Yeah.
And it was essentially saying you didn't see, like she had released so many albums and songs. And I think it's similar to you where people driving by, they see this beautiful building that you have
so nice.
Brought to life and everything online about it. And it can feel like an overnight success.
Yeah.
And it's like, you didn't see all of those nights, all of those events, all of those things. And I think that's the case with anyone successful in our day and age.
Yeah. And I think too, a lot of people haven't seen the business end side of it. So something about me is that I had been an executive assistant for years and years and years. And I remember sitting in some executive meetings, some big, like all hands with all the C-level executives taking notes. And I had a page of their notes and I also had a page of my notes.
Cool.
That I was trying to learn all I could from, these top dogs.
I love that.
I know I don't think a lot of people have know that side of me as well. Like the business end. I think that obviously like very much I'm like out there with Pilates and with like fitness and weight loss and everything.
Yeah.
But it's been years and years of really hard work business wise and trying to learn every single thing I could. And just like my best advice for girls is to just get in the door and learn as much as you can.
I think that's
from people that are better than you.
It's such a beautiful illustration though, where in that moment you could have just felt, I'm an executive assistant. I don't belong in these rooms. I'm not that, whatever, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
But I think it is such a powerful concept to, no matter what you're doing, be 100% there when you're doing it and learn all that you can. Because as you've been talking, I would love to go back to the Annika years ago. The one who took that photo and that I've seen on your social media before. And just show her a glimpse of everything that she was
I know there's no way she would believe it.
No.
I always say, I've made a few videos like this. I always say that me at 21 years old, I would have been my biggest hater today. Like I would have been one of the trolls on social media. Do you know what I mean? I would have been like, ew, that Annika girl is so annoying. Like, who does she think she is? That would have 100% been me that long ago, just because I was in such a bad place myself, and watching someone succeed in something that I secretly wished I could be in that room. It was just too hard for me to not, hate on it. Do you know what I'm saying?
So have to marinate on that for a few days. Cause that's, I think, such a finite truth, no matter what it is in life. It's so easy to hate on people and pull people down when it's an area that you secretly feel a little bit insecure in.
Oh, for sure. And I think that I would have been my biggest hater. I think I would have not been I would have thought all of this was so dumb and that I was so annoying. And I just really feel sad for that girl. And I also,
I'm proud of that girl.
I know, me too. Isn't that cool? It's a cool story. And then I also think that that's how I look at a lot of the hate that I get for like on social media and stuff like that, is I'm just like, I understand. I've been in your place. I've been in this position. And so it's a nice little, someone else has given me that advice too. And when I really thought about it, I was like, wow, that's so true.
Oh yeah. And I think anytime you create anything, like even starting this podcast, I haven't been doing it that long. It makes me very insecure, and it makes me, and people,
people are talking about it
all the time. I've caught people talking about it when they didn't know I was there, and you're like, sick. But I think that it's anytime you're doing something worth doing. So if it's something that scares you, then you know that it's important.
Yeah, it totally is. And you know that people are only saying stuff because they aren't brave enough to do the thing that they're secretly wishing that they would do.
Yeah.
And so they're just going to be like annoyed with you. Like, oh my gosh, who does she think she is to do a podcast?
I'm like, no. Yeah. And I think it's also true. It's like you feel, I don't know if you still feel any imposter syndrome. I do. And I think it's just about doing it anyways. And then helping to encourage other people to do the thing that scares them.
100%. And I say this before, I quote this all the time. Alona, the rugby player. I love her so much.
She's amazing.
When she got asked that question, this was a huge moment. This was like a huge aha moment for me. Someone asked her, I don't know if you've seen that clip of her. Someone said like, how do you handle imposter syndrome? She's like, I don't have imposter syndrome. I work really hard.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I don't even believe that, I'm going to start saying that.
I love that. And that's always something like it almost takes the emotion out of it, where it's like factual. The amount of hours that you put into Annika, the amount of hours I put into this podcast, it's easier to fall back and say, I work really freaking hard.
Yeah.
For that.
Oh yeah. It's cool. I loved that. And I've tried really hard to make that kind of when I catch myself slipping into that mindset of like, what am I doing here? Type thing, or like, can I even do this? I'm just like, no, I've worked really hard. I don't have imposter syndrome.
That was good advice for me. I'm going to do that.
I know, right? I love her.
Well, Annika, I appreciate you taking so much of your time today to come. I know you're so busy, but parting words of advice.
I think my biggest piece of advice is fitness is life-changing. I think that no matter where you're at, whether you are an Olympian who's in amazing shape, or you are starting from couch potato, wanting to change your life like I was, fitness is going to make your life better. And then finding a community, for me, that was finding Pilates, that you can be wrapped up in, that pushes you and inspires you. That's going to be the final push that you need to get over the finish line. And to be honest with you, there kind of is no finish line with fitness. It's just making it your lifestyle, attainable goals. So that's a lot to remember for one final parting word, but fitness is life-changing.
Yeah.
And come join our little community at Annika. We're going to be having so much fun. We're going to work really hard. We're going to wrap you up, and it's going to be such a fun place to be.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you so much being here today and being vulnerable and so authentic and truthful in who you are. And yes, for everybody listening, please come to Annika. We'll all go to a hot Pilates class together.
Let's do a 20-something party.
I'm so there. And if you live outside of Utah, fly in. We'll all do a class together. And men, that applies to you too, because every time I bring a man to Pilates, it's the same reaction every time of, this is really hard. And
I know.
Yes, correct. But I also hope too that you felt a bit of just the beauty that is everything that Annika is creating.
Oh, you're so nice.
From a health standpoint, from a mental health standpoint, and just from living such an authentic, beautiful life that is achievable and repeatable and obtainable. Like, I just think
achievable, repeatable, and attainable. That's my new favorite thing ever. I'm going to put that in my bio.
No,
that's perfect.
But I'm just so grateful that you're here, and I'm grateful for your openness to share that with everyone. I think that it creates a lot of, if she did it, I can do it too.
I love that. I mean, that would be my dream come true. Like if someone hears this story or comes to Annika and they get inspired to make changes in their life, it would all be worth it.
Yeah.
because construction is terrible.
Yeah, well, catch me there all the time after construction is over.
Yes.
And, as always, thank you so much for choosing to spend a little bit of your time with us today. I am honored and grateful that you continue to come back and listen to 20 something and for the community that we're building and that you're a part of. I am forever in your corner and forever cheering you on. And I will see you on the next episode of 20 something.